Do I respect Michigan? Tremendously. Do I like them? Not one bit. I don't like anything about Michigan, and they don't like anything about us. And that's the way it should be. That quote from Michigan State head coach Tom Izzo pretty much sums up the intrastate rivalry between the Spartans and the Wolverines on the hardwood. So how do you distill more than 170 games worth of hate and do justice to a rivalry that has just as much history as its iconic football counterpart? Well, the Showdown hit its zenith in the 2010s, so we'll fast forward to the 20th century as we break down the rivalry between Michigan and Michigan State on this episode of Stadium Rivals. The first matchup in the rivalry took place in 1909. Michigan State, then the Agricultural College of the State of Michigan, came out on top 24-16. But in the first 20 games of the rivalry, Michigan went 15-5, including the longest win streak in the rivalry to this day, a 12-gamer for the Wolverines from 1921 to 1927. If I hadn't grown up around here, I probably would have gone to Michigan. But this is my home, and all my friends are around here. That's the quote Magic Johnson gave after signing his letter of intent to join Michigan State in East Lansing. Growing up in Lansing, it was obviously a straining decision for the basketball legend. But it all ended up working out as he would lead the school to its first title, topping Larry Bird and Indiana State in the national championship game. As for the rivalry, Magic's Spartans split with Michigan each of his 2 seasons at MSU, going 2-2 against the Wolverines. Head coach Steve Fisher recruited Michigan's Fab Five: Chris Webber, Juwan Howard, Jalen Rose, Ray Jackson, and Jimmy King, and the group was at the height of its powers in the 91-92 season. They would head to the national championship, which was eventually vacated, but in January of 92, Michigan took down the Spartans 89-79. Highly touted Flint, Michigan product Mateen Cleaves was involved in an automobile accident during a recruiting trip to Michigan in 1996. The investigation into the accident resulted in both school communities learning of Ed Martin and his improper benefits to several Michigan players. A drawn-out investigation and scandal resulted in several team-issued and NCAA sanctions. Cleaves would eventually join Michigan State, along with 3 other players from Flint, dubbed the Flintstones, to give Tom Izzo one of his best teams ever. Prior to the 1997-98 season, Tom Izzo had lost his first 5 games against the Wolverines by an average margin of 18.8 points per contest. Led by his Flintstones group, number 14 Michigan State topped number 22 Michigan 80-75. The wins set off a run of 8 straight wins and 12 of 13 for MSU over Michigan. The last of the Flintstones, Cleaves, Morris Peterson, and Charlie Bell, had all played together since elementary school and would face Michigan in the group's final home game in 2000. The game would be a coronation for the group that transformed the Spartans program as they destroyed Michigan 114-63, kissing the Block S at midcourt after the win. The team would end the season 32-7, earning a number 1 seed in the 2000 NCAA National Tournament, en route to a national championship win over Florida, as of 2019, Tom Izzo's first and only national title as Michigan State head coach. In 30 games from March of 1990 to March of 2010, the Spartans went 24-6 against Michigan. But John Beilein would have the Wolverines turned around by 2013. For the first time in rivalry history, the teams met while both were ranked in the top 10. These 2013 matchups were split. The first game won by number 5 Michigan State over number 4 Michigan, 75-52. 2 months later, it was number 9 Michigan defeating number 4 Michigan State 58-57 on this steal from Trey Burke. Those ranked matchups started a run of 7 straight rivalry games as ranked opponents. They always say it's tough to beat the same opponent 3 times in a single season, but in 2013-14, Michigan swept the regular season as the rivals were set to square off for the 3rd time, with the final matchup coming in the Big Ten championship game. Adrian Payne led the Spartans with 18 points in number 22 MSU's 69-55 win over number 8 Michigan. Both teams would reach the Elite 8 of the NCAA tournament that March. Denzel Valentine, himself embroiled in a recruiting battle between the schools, tallied a career-high tying 25 points for Michigan State in February 2015 as the Spartans needed overtime to defeat Michigan 76-66. The 2017-18 Michigan Wolverines rode a 3 seed in the NCAA tournament all the way to the national championship before falling to Villanova. Along the way, the team topped number 4 Michigan State behind 27 points from Mo Wagner, 82-72 at the Breslin Center. 3 combined national titles, 16 combined Final Four appearances, 14 Big Ten Players of the Year, and 29 Big Ten titles. Those numbers are the legacy of Michigan and Michigan State in the Big Ten Conference heading into the 2019-2020 season. Historic players and historic moments pepper this rivalry from beginning to end. It's the best rivalry in the state of Michigan and one of the best basketball rivalries in the sport, perfect for a spot on Stadium Rivals.